So welcome all, and thanks for joining my talk. So we'll start with a question. Who of you is combining being a parent and making a career? And who of you sometimes struggles with that? Who of you is curious how I deal with as a single mother of 4 while making career as an engineering manager at Bol? So who am I? I'm Patricia. I'm born in '83. You see me here together with my mom. I have 2 sisters, a little one and a bigger one, and we were raised in worthwhile.There, which is a small village somewhere in the Netherlands. I bought my first house in 2006 with M1. I'm married with him. I have 2 children with him. I got divorced. I met M2 again. I also have 2 kids with him. We bought a farmhouse, a big farmhouse somewhere in Benschop, which was great. And I also divorced him. And since 2023, I'm a single mother of 4 kids, raising them all by my own. Then if you look to my kids, I have Sebastian, who's 18 years old. He's currently studying to become a software engineer. So I put him in the right direction, I think. He works at Albert Heijn at the moment. And he is going to the gym a lot of times because he wants to have a great shaped body. And we have Thomas of 15. He's going to the high school. He walks some leaflets in the neighborhood to earn some money. He's a really sweet guy, so if you do something and you feel sad, he knows it immediately and he comes to me and then he tries to make me feel more comfortable. So he's a really sweet guy. And then we have Thijs from 6 years old. He loves animals. It doesn't matter what kind of animal it is. Every animal is nice for him. Can be a bug, can be a spider, can be a donkey, like in this picture. He needs to touch everything, pet everything, keep everything. He really likes animals. And apart from that, he likes soccer and he's doing swimming classes at the moment. And then you have Elisa from 4 years old. She is really my little princess. And she likes to dress up. She likes to be in dresses, put makeup, put stuff on her nails. All things I don't like, because I'm not that kind of lady. But she loves it, and she's really the princess of our house. And then if you look to my career, I studied media technology very long time ago. Always if I see this, I feel so old. I started as a developer at Energize, which is a digital agency. And quickly I moved to project management. And from project management, I went to client manager, and from client manager to engineering manager at Bol. And my previous company and role was Invi, where I was the CEO for more than 3 years. And as you see throughout my whole career, I also have the kids, right? So it started in 2007. And the last one, also during the time that I was a CEO, I had a newborn in the house. So as you all probably recognize, the outside world expects a lot from us, right? We need to be busy, we need to have friends, we need to do some volunteering work, we need to be parents, we need to be a good sister, a good partner, help the neighbor, do some things on the school from the kids, etc., etc., etc. But how do you do all of this? I mean, it's difficult. So let me guide you to my 4 hacks to combine all of it. The first thing is me time. I think everybody in this room deserves me time and needs me time also. But how do you do that? I mean, it's difficult. I just had a conversation with a guy in the audience who said, like, yeah, the most difficult part is that there's not so much time left, which I recognize. There's not so much time left, especially when you're alone with 4 kids. There's even less time left, I think. But I do think we all need it. It doesn't need to be hours every day, but every day you need some me time. So let me guide you to a day at my place and then see how I do it. So kids are sleeping, they need to wake up. They need to have some breakfast. I need to make the stuff to go to school. They need to put their clothes on. They need to brush their teeth, need to put their shoes on. We need to walk the dogs. Yes, I also have dogs. Then everybody in the car, go to the school, get out of the car, actually enter the school. I drive to the office. I have all-day meetings. I'm driving back after a long day working. We need to do some groceries. We need to do some cooking. We eat with the whole family together. And then we do some brushing of the teeth again. We read bedtime stories. The other one goes to bed. Some homework with Thomas. A chit-chat with Sebastian. walk the dogs again, and then it's 9 o'clock in the evening, and I'm on the couch and I'm tired, right? You think like, oh, I just want to sleep. If I turn on the television, I sleep like in 5 minutes, I think. And this was just an ordinary day, right? There was not any going to the dentist, breakfast, Easter for the school, no swimming class, no soccer practice, nothing, just a regularly ordinary, boring day, let's say. So when can I have time to do this me time? I mean, I don't see any holes in my schedule where I can put it. Like 2 years ago, I came to this book, The Miracle Morning. Maybe some of you know it. But it's about the guy, Hal, and he was in a big accident. He was like almost dead. And he needed to recover from that, which was difficult, but he had a lot of friends around him who were helping him out. The one person cooked the dinner, the other did the groceries, and he had a lot of help around him, so he managed to get out of it. But then a couple of years later, his company went financially broke. And at that time, friends were not so willing to help. It was really different than when he had an accident. So at a certain moment, I thought, like, I need to do something because I can stay here in the bed or in my house, try to be a victim of the situation, but I am the only person that can really change this, so I need to do something. And then he came up with this miracle morning, because he also read around in a lot of sites that the most, the people that are on the top of the chains in most companies, there are people that wake up pretty early. So he thought, maybe I also need to wake up early. So he started to wake up pretty early, and he also describes that in his book, like wake an hour before you actually need to wake up. So if you normally wake up at 7, then wake up at 6, put your alarm clock away from your bed, because otherwise you just put the snooze knob and you're not gonna get out. Drink some water, because that helps. And then do this whole savers method, is how he calls it. It starts with some silence time, just prayer or meditation. Do some affirmations, do some visualizations, do some exercise, some training, workout, do some reading, and some scribing, which is not really a word, but otherwise savers was not that great. And I started doing this also. So I wake up at 6 in the morning, every morning. And then I have 1 hour just for me. Kids are still sleeping, so that's good. And I do it like this. So I wake up at 6, I walk with the dogs, and especially in summertime it's nice because I live close by the woods, so I can go to the woods. I get back after half an hour walking. Dog walked great. I had a nice time. Sometimes you see some animals that you normally don't see during the day, which is great. Then I do some reading, I do some writing, and some meditation. And this sometimes is different also. I also had periods where I didn't do the reading, but I did playing piano or something. It doesn't really matter what you really do, as long as you have rhythm in waking up and take this time for yourself. That is the most important part of it. And what I feel is that if I do it, I feel so more energized. I feel so much better because it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I already have 1 hour me time in the pocket, right? They just started and I have it already. So that's great. And also the kids feel it. So if I do this, then the kids are more relaxed. If I don't do it, everything starts to be annoying. Everything starts to be a battle. So I really like to do this. And it really helps me because in the morning already I have this me time, and then if in the evening at 9 o'clock when everybody is to bed, I don't feel like doing anything for me anymore, it doesn't matter because I already did something for myself like 1 hour in the morning. The other thing I did is find a babysitter, which is also a difficult thing. In the beginning, I had the feeling like, yeah, who do I trust my kids to? Of course, your own parents or maybe your sister, but yeah, you can also not say to your parents, like, come here every week, or I mean, at least not with my parents. So then I was telling that to a colleague, and she said, like, yeah, you have like a platform for the Netherlands, and there you can search babysitters around the place where you live. So I thought, like, okay, that's great. I'm going to subscribe to the platform, and I did. And I found a babysitter. which was nice. And now she's coming every Tuesday from 7 to 9 in the evening. And then I have 2 more hours of me time. And sometimes I go swimming, sometimes I do another walk with the dog, sometimes I go cycling in the woods, sometimes I just go to a friend. But I have these 2 hours every week, and I don't need to arrange anything anymore. I have it already, so that's great. And I think all of you need it, right? It doesn't need to be hours. It can be 10 minutes. You can grab a coffee and really enjoy the coffee, or stand out in your backyard and just observe it, like for 10 minutes, just be with yourself. But I think everybody in this room needs me time every day again, so make sure that you get it. My second hack is kids learn by doing. I really believe that kids can do more than that we let them do. So usually, if you want something to be done, you do it yourself because you're quicker, you know it better, and you have really an opinion on how it should be done. So that's why you keep a lot of things to yourself, a lot of things that maybe your kids can also do. And it really helps them grow if they are allowed to do some things. So in my house, Thijs is responsible for feeding the dogs. He needs to do it every morning. He needs to do it every evening. I explained to him, like, it's important because if you don't do it, the dogs don't have food, right? So they get hungry. Sometimes he's complaining, like, Mom, I don't want to do it. I don't feel like it. Can't we skip for a moment? Do you want to have dinner tonight? Yes. Okay, then we cannot skip because I can also not skip. And I also don't like cooking every night, but I do it because we as a family need food. So he's doing it, and sometimes it goes wrong, right? Dogs is hungry. What dogs do then is they start vomiting. We clean it up together, and then he learns from that. And now he's doing it. It's not a big task, but he gained some responsibility with it, and he knows now, like, this is a big task, because if I don't do it, these dogs don't get food. And I think with that, he learned something. And then in my farmhouse that I used to have with M2, we had a big yard. It was like 5,000 square feet, which was awesome and horrible at the same time, because you need to maintain everything, right? And we both had a job. I was the CEO of a company. We had 4 kids, and this big grass. So first of all, we get some sheep, but yeah, they did something, but they did not mow everything. We had a hand mower in the beginning, so we were just doing this like for 5,000 square feet. It was not doable also, because in summer you need to do it at least once a week. And then we bought this riding mower, which is a big machine, right? It's dangerous, there's a big knife beneath it. As you can see in the top left of the picture, there's some water was there around our backyard. The first time, I even liked it because I never had used this machine, so I just started riding, it was awesome. But then after 2 or 3 times, you're like, well, it's just another task that I need to do. So we made this the responsibility of Sebastian. This was his responsibility to make sure the grass was short. And in the beginning, of course, he also liked this because this was a fancy machine. He could drive around and he liked this. But in a certain moment of time, also he was like, well, a little bit complaining. I don't feel like it. Sometimes he didn't do it. And then I asked him, like, you know that you need to mow the grass, right? Yeah, I know. I will do it later, Mom. Okay, fine. Week passed. Honey, you know that you need to mow the grass, right? Yeah. I will do it, Mom. I will do it. Okay, fine. A week later, still didn't do it. Grass was this high. You cannot get through it with this machine even anymore. 3rd week, I'm going to mow the grass. Good luck. After a couple hours, he came back. He needed to do things like twice or triple because he could not go to this high grass anymore. But he learned something there, right? He learned that if he didn't do it at the first time, that maybe if he waited for 3 weeks, he needed to spend more time. And I thought it was a nice opportunity for him to learn that if he has the responsibility of something, he needs to do it also. And I was not stepping in because I thought, like, yeah, this grass can be high, it doesn't matter. Yeah?
Do you pay them?
No, I don't. So he did it, and I was happy that he did it, and he learned something from it because he really thought, like, okay, I can do this. This is my task. If I do it every week, it's like maybe half an hour, 45 minutes work. I can do that. And then we have Thomas. He really loves chicken. So we went to a farm where he could pet with his chicken the whole day. And then he said, like, Mom, can I have chickens? I said, like, yeah, you can. I mean, we have a big yard. If you want to have chickens, it's fine. But you need to take care of it. I'm not going to do it. You need to clean the cage. You need to make sure that they have food. You need to make sure that they have water. You need to collect the eggs. All these kind of things you need to do. Yeah, I will do it. Okay. So we bought 4 chicken and a rooster, which was nice. And in the beginning, they stayed in the cage. But in a certain moment of time, they knew how to get out of it. And of course, 4 chicken and a rooster doesn't stay 4 chicken and a rooster, right? So in the end, we had like 18 chickens and a rooster, which was nice, but came with new, how you say it, challenges. So you see here Thijs when he was pretty small, and you see the chickens around him, the food was around him, and this is not really a problem, but they also poop everywhere, and this is even worse than all other kinds of poops. It's really disgusting. It smells horrible. I will spare you the details, but it's not great. And even they are close to Elisa when she was a baby, right? She was just laying there on the couch. Chicken came next to her, like, hello, I'm also here. So I discussed with Thomas, like, honey, this is not going how it's supposed to go. He said, like, yeah, but I needed to upscale to make sure that I could supply my customers with eggs. So I have now 18 chicken, which is great. I can sell all these eggs, and he was allowed to save the money from these eggs. But yeah, now they cannot stay in the cage anymore. So I said, like, okay, but then how are you going to manage this? And he said, like, yeah, I need to think up a plan. I said, yeah, do it. And he was thinking about a plan, and a couple of days later he came to me and said, Mom, I made a plan. Maybe we can use that part of our yard and make a fence there together, and a new chicken house, and then we can leave the chickens there, and then they don't come in our backyard where we also have the small children. And I said, yeah, that's a good idea, let's do it. So we went to a place where we could buy the wood and all the materials that we needed, and we did it together. We made the fence, we made the new chicken house, and all 18 chickens and roosters stayed in there. And then this morning, when I went away, I asked him, like, I'm going to do this talk, and I'm going to talk about your chicken. So what is it that you have learned from this experience? And then he told me, like, I really thought, Mom, in the beginning that it was easy, that I could just give them some food, some water, and that was it. But it was really a big responsibility. Also, when it was cold or wet or pretty hot, I needed to do it. I needed to go to the chicken food, give them some food. I needed to collect the eggs, bring them to the customers, get the money. And he said, so it was a big responsibility, bigger than I thought, but I also learned that I could do this. I could manage this. I grew from this. So I'm also proud of myself that I was able to do this with the chicken. So that made me feel good. Like, okay, so you learned something there. That's great, because I think that's our responsibility. Help the kids to grow. The third thing is, they don't need to walk a road. I think everybody in this room have been walking a road until where we are at this moment. And sometimes we went left, where maybe right was the better option. Sometimes we went right, where maybe left was the better option. Sometimes straight, we make some mistakes, we stand up again, we fall down again, we stand up again, and now we are where we are. And I think we want the best for our kids, right? We want our kids to be happy and healthy and successful and have a nice job and a nice family and a nice house and everything. But we don't do that by forcing them into our road. That's not, I think, our responsibility. Our responsibility is to let them walk their own road. And we are there to guide them if they fall down, to help them standing up again. That's, I think, our responsibility. And then I had Sebastian, when he went to high school, he didn't like high school at all. So he didn't want to learn for no exam. He always wanted to pass with the bare minimum, which for me was pretty frustrating. I thought, like, oh boy, you're wasting your future and all your potential if you don't do good on school. In the Netherlands, this degree is so important, so please, you need to step up, you need to do something. So we had a lot of arguments about it and things about it. And in a certain moment of time, I realized, like, what am I doing? And then I went back to my own time. When I was like 17, I was in high school. And in a certain moment of time, I thought, like, I don't know why I'm learning all these things, right? What am I going to do with history, mathematics? English, it's pretty useful. It looks like it, but what I'm going to do with all these things, I didn't know back then. And then I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I want to stop school. And of course she said, like, well, Patricia, maybe that's not the best idea. And she started giving me all these arguments why this was not a good idea to do. And then she ended it with, but if you want to drop out of school, fine, put on your shoes and your jacket. We're going to go to the grocery now. We're going to buy a newspaper and you're going to apply for a job. And then I thought, like, that's maybe also not what I want. So I decided to stay in school. But the important part here is that she let me take my own road and my own decision, right? She was there just if I would have gone to work and it wouldn't have worked out, then she was there to help me stand up again and go to school again. But she was not forcing me into her road. No, she was allowing me to take my own exits. And I started doing that with Sebastian too. I said to him, like, okay, I'm not going to push you anymore. If you want to pass everything with the bare minimum, fine, do it. I think our relationship is more important than fighting over if you get an A or an 8 or a 10 or a 5. Do it. You will find your way, and I know that you will get there. And of course, he passed his exams with the bare minimum, right? Like classic Sebastian. But he did it. And now he is studying to become a software engineer. And he likes it so much that he is fast-forwarding the education, so he can do like 3 years in 2 years. So he found something where he's passionate about, and I thought, like, whoa, I also made the right decision there. I let him go, and now he's just coming on the path again, which is great. And this is his path, not my path, his path. And it is great. He's getting there. I'm so proud of him. He's doing good in school. He made friends. He's really a good guy. So I'm happy that I made the decision to not keep on pushing for my road. No, this is his road. I am there to help him to get up again if he falls down. I'm not here to prevent that he will fall. He will fall anyway, someday. It doesn't matter, it's fine, that's how they grow. And then the last thing is, I think you need to decide where it is that you want to be the best. We just have an amount of time and energy in our life, right? And we cannot be the best in all places. So you need to decide for yourself, do you want to be the best mom, the best dad, the best partner, the best manager, the best boss, the best developer, the best neighbor? I don't know, can be everything. But you need to decide what it is where you want to be the best, because you can only spend your energy once. I want to be the best mom ever, because I have 4 amazing kids and I think they deserve the best mom ever. And I want to be the best mom ever. So I always choose my kids above everything else. And I'm pretty transparent also about it at work. So at work, I also say, like, I want to be the best mom. I think I'm still a great manager. I'm still good, not the best. I also don't have the ambition to become the best manager because I want to be the best mom. So if I need to make a decision, I will always choose for the kids. Which in some scenarios is pretty obvious, right? If they call me now, I will say, sorry guys, I need to go. Everybody will respect that. But I also make this decision if in the morning some of my kids come to me and say, like, Mom, I feel so sad. Can we please have tea this afternoon together? Then I also try to put some meetings away or postpone something or delay something which is really not that urgent and take time for my kid. Or if he or she has something on school play, like 10 minutes school play in the morning, I also do that. So deciding where it is that you want to be the best helps you prioritize, but it also helps you to feel less guilty. Because we all recognize this guilt, right? We have the feeling that we fall short, either in work or to our partner or to our kids or to all of them. And deciding that I want to be the best mom helps me in finding peace in that I'm still a great manager, not the best, which is still fine. I don't feel guilty anymore about it. And I also don't feel guilty to my friends. They know also that I want to be the best mom. So I'm so open about it that everybody knows it, that also this guilt is gone. So that helps because I think a lot of people recognize this guilt. But even with these 4 hacks which I use, it's still not easy, right? It's still a juggle constantly. I mean, alone with 4 kids, but also if you're together with 1 kid, it's difficult, right? You have yourself, you have the kid, you have the couple, so it's difficult. The balance stays difficult. And I think there are some things that try to get our attention which better get not our attention. So I will also guide you to some pitfalls where I've been through in the last years. And one of them is I'm always on. So working from home after Corona is great. I think it's something good Corona brought. But if I bring my kids to school and I go home, 5 minutes later I'm at home, and I immediately start working, my mind constantly switch between work and life, and work and home. And normally I have my commute. I have like a 40 minutes commute to my work. Then I have all the time to switch my brain from my private life to my work life, or the other way around. And if I work from home, I don't have it. So I always have the feeling that I'm on. Also, when I'm with my kids, sometimes I check my phone. I always had the feeling like I need to be present, that somebody could text me, that somebody from my work can call me. This always on is something really, I think also from this society of the moment, but also something we do to ourselves, because it's really not necessary. Everything is off at this moment, and it's fine. Nothing will happen, right? And I also try to do that during my days. Like if I bring the kids to school, I fake a commute for like 10 or 15 minutes, take a longer walk home to just make sure that my body and my brain can go from private to work. And I do the same if I go the other way around. So that helps me in not always being on, because that's really something that costs a lot of energy, which you probably recognize. And then I think life is a journey, not a race. And sometimes we treat it like it's a race, right? I go from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other, and then I think, okay, I did everything great. And up to the next day, and then you do the same, I don't know, racing again, but you're not really enjoying. You're not really enjoying the moment or the journey that you are going through. So you're just going from one thing to the other and back. And it's more like a to-do list than something that you enjoy. And I think that's a waste, because kids get big quickly, you get older, and you just need to enjoy the ride also. Not only the end destination is a goal. No, the whole way towards it also is something which you can enjoy, which you usually forget, which is a waste. Just enjoy the ride. There's so much in it, small things which you can, if you don't pay attention, you won't see it. But if you pay attention, you'll see all the small things that makes you feel happy. And I already mentioned, like, this guilt is something probably a lot of people recognize, right? This guilt. But I think also our kids don't need perfect parents. Our kids need us doing the best we can. And that's the best that we have. That's also what our parents gave us, right? Sometimes it was not the best. Sometimes you wanted to have more, but this was the best that they could give to you. Because I truly believe that every parent gives the best, what he or she has in him or her, to his kids. You're not going to on purpose do something bad for your kid. No, nobody does that. So you give the best you can, and that's all what's needed for the kids. So try not to feel guilty. Just try to enjoy the moment, and teach them also that sometimes choosing for yourself is also fine. It's fine. They need to learn also this kind of things. And the last thing is, I think I always was a to-do machine, right? Like, I had like a list of to-dos, maybe 100. I finished 10, 20 new one came, and this was a list you could never finish. And everything could be on it, from painting, from buying something, from going to a place. And I was just busy with this never-ending to-do list. And this was really frustrating process, and it's really something that never stops, I think. So, for example, if I went on holiday, there you don't have the cleaning, there you don't have the laundry, which is great. There you don't need to cook. Sometimes you can just take a dinner. But then you come home with the suitcases with stuff. You come in a house and you think like, oh, the house is dirty, fridge is empty, I need to cook. Laundry is in the luggage. Ugh. Okay, and to-do machine on, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, there we go again. And then you lose your journey, but also your moment, right? Your vacancy moment, your holiday. You're missing that. You're ruining it in the first moment that you step into the door. And what I do now is, if I come home back from holiday. Sometimes I just leave the suitcase there. I mean, it can wait another day. It doesn't matter, right? It's just there. Laundry I can also do it tomorrow. I will make sure that I have ordered food beforehand already, so that it's coming the day after. I never cook it the first day that I come home. I just think, okay, this is just, we're gonna have dinner someplace because it's the ending of our holiday. And this kind of these small things will help you in not immediately starting this to-do machine again, because it's a never-ending list anyway. So you can do whatever you want, but you won't finish it because you will always come up with new things. So try to think about if you have something on your list, like, is it urgent and important? Or can I delay it or postpone it? Or delegate it to somebody else? Or skip it at all? I mean, it's so easy to keep on busy with things that are not that relevant. And better prioritize stuff or delay stuff really helped me in doing less things now, because some things I can also do tomorrow or the day after. It doesn't need to be now, so there's less pressure on myself. So slow down, breathe, notice things around you and smile, enjoy. So if I summarize everything up, then it's important to have me time every day. Can be 5 minutes, can be an hour, but make sure that you have it every day again. Your kids learn by doing, so give your kids some responsibility, some task in the house. It will help them grow, but it will also help you in doing less, right? If they put their own plate in the dishwasher, you don't need to do it. If they feed the dogs, you don't need to do it. So help them to grow, but also let them experiment with things. And it won't go good everything at once, doesn't matter, just give them some space. And remember that they don't need to walk your road. They walk their own road. It's our responsibility that if they fall down, that we help them standing up again. That's our own responsibility. It's not our responsibility to prevent them from falling or to force them into our roads. No, let them walk their own route. And if they fall down, just make sure that you are there to help him or her to stand up again. And decide for yourself where it is that you want to be the best. It's difficult, right? Because a lot of people then say to me like, yeah, but I want to be the best partner and the best dad. That's just not possible, in my opinion, right? So I think you really need to choose. And it doesn't mean that if you are the best dad, you are a lousy partner or vice versa. You can still be good, not the best. So think about for yourself, like what is it where you want to be the best? So don't feel guilty and always remember that you are the only parent for your kids, right? Without you, these kids would not have been here. So you are the only and the right parent for them. And if you feel good, they feel good. That's something I realized when I broke up the second time. I felt bad, kids feel bad. If I feel better, they feel better. They immediately take my energy, right? So you can also invest in you because that's needed. And I think it's good to show that to them. Like sometimes it's good to choose for myself. So sometimes I'm saying like, okay, for the upcoming 15 minutes, you cannot disturb me because I want to read. Or I want to sit here in the garden without you coming to me. And I put an alarm clock and after this 15 minutes, they can come to me again. And that's fine. They also need to learn that. So now it's hack time for all of you. So probably one of these things resonated the most with you, or is something where you think like, hey, I can have a quick win there. So think about that for the upcoming evening, week. And think about how, for example, you can make sure that you have 10 minutes me time every day. What is it that you can do to make sure that you have it? Can you, like me, stand up a little bit earlier to have it then? Do you do it in the evening? Are you going to like a longer lunch break? I don't know, but make sure that you have it. Think about the tasks that you can give to your kids. Give them something. Can be big, can be small, but make sure that they have something. Or, and basically, give them the freedom to be themselves and invest in quality time over all other things that you could do. So please, give them all the quality of the time that they have and make sure that they get your full attention if you spend time with them. And decide where it is that you want to be the best, because you can only be the best at one thing. And never forget, be gentle with yourself, because we're always so hard for ourselves. Be gentle is important. Your kids will always love you. That was it. Thanks. There is some time left, so if somebody wants to ask something, you can shout. Yeah?
Step 2 and 3, like giving the kids more responsibility and letting them be more free. That's like what is described in books like Uncanon Parent, or in Dutch, Jaargezamenlijke opvoeden,
Yeah.
and Montessori methods.
Yeah. Yeah, so the question is like the step 2 where you give your kids more responsibility. You have other books indeed about it, but I think kids in the basics they want to be part of something, right? They want to be part of the family. They want to contribute to the family. So for them, it's not. For us, giving the food to the dog is like, well, I need to give food to the dog. But for them, it's not like that. They know that they contribute to the family and they like that. So I think it's good that you try to pick that kind of task in the beginning, to begin with, to help them, indeed. And there are more books written about it. But I really think kids want to contribute to the family, want to belong to a family. So you can make that happen by giving them some tasks. Yeah.
What's your strategy for managing screen time?
Yeah, managing screens, good question. There are days that I think like, whatever, just go to the screen, I'm tired, I just want to take my own time, honestly. But there are also times where I think like, well, no, we can do something together. So then I say like, no screens, we do a game together, a board game, or we go outside. Yesterday I went to the zoo with my kids to make sure that we do something outside, no screens. But it is a difficult topic. And with my oldest son, he had a period where he was always gaming. And then when they are a little bit older, it's even more difficult, right? With a kid of 4 or a kid of 15, it's a different conversation. And then I just had the conversation like, hey, I don't think this is healthy, just being behind the screen all day. And at that moment, you're like, yeah, whatever, mom. Didn't resonate at all. But now, a couple years later, he has real friends, how I call it, like offline friends, where he hangs out with, and he is sporting. And so I think it's also like, it goes like this, right? As long as you have the conversation and you can talk with the kids about it, it will help. But it is always difficult, I think, because we usually do it when we want space. We put the kids on the screen, right? Because in that way, we don't need to pay attention. So I really try to minimize that. Like, this is my moment with my kids. I wanted to be the best mom. Then I need to put effort also. But it is difficult, yeah. That's true. Thanks, and if no more questions, and thanks for your time, and have a safe ride home.